Welcome dear viewers to the third episode of Sunday Snippets. This is Anshul Bopardikar.
This is Snigdha Sarkar.
And today we have very special guests with us, Mrs Sreeja Ma'am, Biology teacher at Reliance Foundation School, Lodhivali, and Mrs Mrunalini Ma'am, Physics teacher at Reliance Foundation School, Lodhivali. So before we begin, there is one demonstration that I would like to present, even though many of us already know. Our scriptures say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So this literally means teacher is God. We know that God never stops working and never gets exhausted. Similarly, the teachers have not stopped working even in these difficult times. Even when our classrooms have shifted online, and this has in some cases reduced as well as increased our academic pressure, teachers continue to pour their heart out to help students attain knowledge. They continue to strive relentlessly so that we, the students, are least affected by the pandemic. Such great ideals are with us today and would bless us with their auspicious presence. So before any further delay, let us get started.
So, did the teachers expect the pandemic to last this long?
When we were hearing about the news of COVID-19 in the month of January and February, we had started thinking about some effect on our scenario as well, and we were discussing about these things, but still lockdown was really abrupt, and in general we were not very prepared to continue with our teaching learning process. But yes, with Sreeja ma'am's Zoom idea, and then we did it effortlessly. Within 8 days in our school, we started our online training. And as far as it being so long, it's really had been very long, 1 year down the line. Vaccination issue was something which we were aware will take time. But it is going on to the next academic year is something really not understandable, or not, like, we are not able to accept it. We wanted a normal school next year, definitely.
No, we were not expecting actually that this online teaching will go on for this much long. Like when we started in March, though we started with Zoom sessions and all, we were expecting at least by August we will come back to school. We'll have face-to-face transaction. But this was really a long journey for both teachers and students.
So the next question is a very one-liner question I would ask. What according to you is the best form of teaching, physical or online?
Of course, physical. Because nothing can replace like meeting the students, looking at students' face and teaching. Because when we look at their face, we can make out, it's clear whether they are listening, whether they are attentive, whether they are understanding. So like physical, of course, physical transaction cannot be replaced by online. But in a situation like pandemic or online teaching, of course it helped. Like, and another thing is many positive side is we could use many technologies. Like, if it can be used very effectively.
As Sreeja ma'am has said, physical classrooms should not be replaced by anything. I really agree with it. It creates a real feeling. I mean, like, we are able to understand what student is feeling at the moment and accordingly change our learning teaching process. But after using technology for 1 year, I have come to this that flipping will be better than only following physical or only following online. Like, we should now, once we are on to these kind of technology based learning, part of the things should be shifted to some kind of flipped thing which will be available online for the students 24/7, and we should have definitely the physical classroom where the teacher and the student actually connect and are able to work on the gray areas.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So the next question is to Mrunalini ma'am. During these online classes, did you face any kind of technical issues, and did it affect you mentally in any way?
Actually, teaching online was not difficult because I was yearning to use technology in the classroom since 7 to 8 years earlier. Like I used to repent for not able to use FET in the classroom. The simulation I was not able to take in classroom. I used to tell my students do that, but I didn't have direct with them on these tools. But this gave me a wonderful opportunity of fulfilling my long-standing wish. Definitely.
But then, is it affecting you mentally in any way?
Mentally, yes, because I'm not getting connected with my children. So the student rapport which I used to build in a year is totally missing this year. So mentally, yes, while teaching, I feel like I'm teaching to the walls. I'm not getting the real-time feedback. Because of our bandwidth problem, all the students have to be on mute. They cannot switch on their cameras. I can't see them. So these things were actually creating, like, I'm explaining things, but are children following it or not? So that was mentally going on at the back of my mind. I'm explaining, but what about the other end? Are they following? So these kind of issues, definitely I used to, and even used to discuss with my colleagues, like how to know these things. So that way mentally it was really not satisfying. That is what satisfaction was somewhere missing. Classroom में वो satisfaction अच्छे से मिलता है. हाँ, ये समझा. I re-explained it because they didn't understand. This was not available in online teaching.
Absolutely. This next question is to Sreeja ma'am. Did you ever feel like you were losing that student-teacher bond in online sessions? Because we commonly see, because the student and teacher bond is somewhere getting a little, I can say, a little weakened up. But then what is your take on this?
Yeah, actually this is one of the main aspect of online teaching, because the rapport between students and teachers. Yeah, rapport is, of course, it is affected, because face-to-physical interaction, there is a lot of difference between physical interaction with physical transaction and online transaction, because it's personal choice. When I ask a question whether the child has to respond or not, it's up to him or her, isn't it? Like many times it happened that they don't respond, or they just mute themselves, they don't turn up. So, like, of course that affects their rapport. But still, as a teacher, we need to maintain the rapport with the students. And again, for me, the positive thing this time was most of all the students were known to me before. Means I didn't have a new set of students which I didn't know previously. So that was an advantage for me. So I knew each and every student. So I could understand how a child is doing. But not like 100%, but still. So that, of course, it affects the rapport between teacher and students.
So the next question is to Mrunalini ma'am. So in light of the pandemic, it has become the reality that students and teachers across the globe have gone online for like all kind of education purposes. And in the online examination nowadays, it's quite common that students have used unfair means to score the undeserving marks. And we also see that students keep themselves on mute and they don't respond to what the teacher is saying. The sad reality today is that the students think that they are betraying the teacher, but in actuality they are betraying themselves and their future. So how do you as teachers concur with this?
Actually, this year 2020 was an eye-opener for a student, for a teacher, and to the board itself, the school, the curriculum designers as well. It was a challenge to all three. So when teachers were using these means of cheating or whatever they were doing, onus was put on to teacher to design new ways of testing, which will not let them will not give them that leverage of copying from something. So, and as NEP is coming into practice, so we have from this 2020 knowledge-centric and understanding-centric curriculum to analysis and what we can synthesizing information kind of assessment. So whatever switchover is there, this was the year which has made it happen for a teacher to think on it and the students to face it in the next year. So hopefully from next year it will not be so easy to cheat in the exam even if the exams are online. So we have learned from the story of 2020 how to design question papers so that cheating is at the minimum. So everything, like I feel now as an assessment should be, yes, internet is open to you. This is the calculator. This is the Google Lens available to you. Click the question from the Google Lens, search it on the internet and design the best answer out of it. But then while designing the best answer, the child is reading, understanding, assimilating, synthesizing and coming up with good answer. It should not be copy pasted. So this is something which I would like students to understand, that instead of copy pasting this exam, 10 years, 12 years of their school journey is supposed to be for student building, their skill building. So instead of cheating, they should try to design their abilities, and it is onus is on to the teacher and the school how to find out the answer for not letting them cheat, to move them, take away from it.
Yeah.
So as such, cheating is okay.
Yeah.
If they are thinking, analyzing and doing the other part at the back end. We have
So true. I mean, we are looking at the positive side as well in this situation.
Yeah.
It's the positives.
So I think next question is to Sreeja ma'am. So we all know that what burden the teachers have on their shoulders, and we all know what are their hardships. But now as students, we are very interested in knowing that how can we ease your burden? Because that's what we do not know here. We know that you are facing such challenges, but then we as students want to know how we can ease your burden.
Yeah. As students, now actually if the online transaction, even though it will come back to physical school, I think it may not be now. Hereafter, it will be like a flip kind of learning or hybrid learning. So the students, they need to do the things properly. Whatever assignments. If it is like a flipped learning, they need to go through the materials and do the assignments or whatever. That is more kind of self-learning. Actually, when you say burden, teaching will not be a burden for teachers, but still, if the students do all these things like regularly, systematically, that will be a great relief for the teacher, especially in online sessions and all. Like if all the students do from their part some self-study, that will be a lot of relaxation for the teacher, like easing the burden for teachers, and that also will help the learning process for the students.
So I would just like to say that it's truly commendable that even in hard times like this, teachers keep teaching the students with utmost determination and passion. Right, Anshul?
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. But unfortunately, we are coming to the end of this interview.
So I would like to end this by saying that thanking you both for gracing us with your.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Anshul and Snigdha.